All right. Hi, guys. Very good. Let me see what the time is. Okay, good afternoon. Okay. How are you guys? Let me introduce myself. My name is Angela. I come from a country called Nepal. I'm just going to write that down. And I would be very happy if you can introduce yourselves. Okay. Let us know where you're watching us from. Your name, where you're watching us from. Okay, I see some of you are just coming in right now. So again, I would say that my name is Angela. I'm from Nepal. I'm a teacher at my English school in Meravili in Milan. And very happy to have you here with me today. I will be leaving my camera off so that the connection stays better. And I hope that will not be a problem for you. And today we're going to be talking about giving advice. So it's so important, advice in our lives. And the person who gives us this advice is also somebody who should be trusted. So we're going to be talking about all those things. All right. So guys, can you please let us introduce yourselves? Let us know where you're from, your name, where you're from. And I would love to have good participation from you. Okay, so please don't be shy. Please come forward and let us know where you're from, your name, and so on. Okay, so while you're doing that, I'll quickly go through some of our slides. Okay, so today we'll be talking about giving advice. Okay, in this focus activity, asking for and giving advice. Phrases for giving advice, reassuring phrases. Good advice, bad advice. Who comes to you for advice? Okay, who? Let me read that for you. Who do you usually ask for advice? Do they give you good or bad advice? Think of a time when someone gave you good advice. What happened? If you could go back in time, what would you tell yourself? All right, so hi, Luca. Hi, Luca. Yes, I remember you, Luca, from Novara. Yes, nice to see you again. Nice to know that you're here. I can't see you, but nice to know you're here. So, and it's nice because you came during lunchtime, and not many people turn up during lunchtime. So it's nice to see you here. You, Luca, if I'm not mistaken, you come to the school at Meravili, don't you? Okay. While you answer, I'm just going to read through those questions, and I would like for you guys to answer these questions. Very interesting questions and very nice to practice your English. Okay, so who comes to you for advice? Number one. Number two, who do you usually ask for advice? Do they give you good or bad advice? Think of a time when someone gave you good advice. What happened? Number four, if you could go back in time, what would you tell yourself? Okay. Ah, yes. I didn't know we had a school in Novara, but nice to know, Luca. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So The connection is a bit slow, so it's going to take some time for you guys, the comments to appear in my comment feed. So I'm going to wait for you all. And meanwhile, I'll just talk about myself, okay? Who comes to me for advice and things like that. So who comes to me for advice? I have many friends who come to me for advice. And I also have a brother and sister who do come to me for advice as well. And who do I usually ask for advice? Well, I do ask my husband for advice. And sometimes he gives me good advice, and sometimes the advice is not the best. Yeah. And I also go to my mom and my dad for advice. Okay, so Lucas says, my best friend usually comes to me to ask me for advice. Great. All right. And what about you? Who do you usually? And sometimes my parents. Oh, so do your parents ask you for advice, or do you ask your parents for advice? Or is it both ways? All right. Let me know. Also, the other questions you can continue answering, not just Luca, everybody else as well, whoever's watching. Okay, so think of a time when someone gave you good advice. What happened? If you could go back in time, what would you tell yourself? Okay, all right, so both ways, great. Yep, that's nice. So if I could go back in time, I would tell my younger self not to stress too much. Things happen in life and everything happens for the best, right? So this is what I've learned. So I would tell myself not to stress too much, okay? Think of a time when someone gave you good advice. What happened? I think I've had really good advice from so many people. I can't really remember an exact thing or a specific piece of advice, but yes, I'm quite sure I've received very good advice from my parents, some of my friends, loved ones, some teachers. Yeah, so yes, I have gotten really good advice from people. Okay, so Luca, very good. I often ask my parents and my best friend for advice, and in general, they give me good advice. Yep, very nice. Good sentence there. Very good sentence. Okay, and the rest of you guys, please do join in. Okay. You can answer any of these questions. Who comes to you for advice? Who do you usually ask for advice? Do they give you good or bad advice? Okay. A good piece of advice that you've received from someone. You can also mention that. And of course, if you could go back in time, what would you tell yourself? I'm going to wait for your answers because of the connection. So I'll give you a few minutes to write your answers. So you might hear silence on my part, but doesn't mean that I've gone away. I'm right here, just waiting for you guys to comment, okay? So guys, I see at least 5 of you are here in this room. Please do write your comments. It's never too late to join, so please do write your comments, write your answers to these questions, introduce yourselves. Okay. Right. While some of you are writing, what I'll do is I'll quickly flip some of the slides, okay? But don't worry, even if you are writing, I will make sure that you see all the slides, okay? Okay. So I'm just going to read this, guys. You continue writing. I will go through them again, so don't worry. Okay. So giving advice. Which phrases can you use to give advice? And there are some of these phrases that you can use. You should, you could, have you tried, have you thought about, if I were you, I would, you shouldn't. Oh, hi. Very nice. So Katerina, hi. Oh, excuse me. Sorry for the delay. Oh, no problem. I'm Katerina from Livorno, not so far from Pisa. It takes 20 to 30 minutes by car. I usually give and receive advice from my family. They suggest me the best things to do. Okay, they suggest the best. Okay, so they give you the best suggestions. Very nice, Katerina. Well done. Okay, and meanwhile, Luca answers, I have no regrets about the past. I did everything what I planned in my life for now. Okay, that's great. So Luca thinks that he has no regrets about the past and he did everything according to plan. Fantastic, Luca. Very good. All right. What about you guys? What about Katerina? Do you have any advice you would give yourself, give your younger self? Okay, for example, let me go back to that page. If you could go back in time, what would you tell yourself? Okay, so if you could go back in time, what is the thing that you would tell yourself? All right. Like, for example, Luca has said that he has no regrets and everything that he's doing at the moment is according to plan. So obviously, he doesn't really have any advice for himself because he's done a good job so far. So that's great. All right. Very nice. But very few people can say that. And Luca, you're really lucky that you can say something like that. All right. And while you're writing your comments, your answers, I'm just going through these scenarios, okay? So the phrases you can use to give advice. Oh, you should do this and that. You could do this, okay? You should is very advisory. You could is like giving a choice to the person you're giving advice to, okay? Have you tried, you know, going for a walk? Have you tried doing this, okay? Have you thought about, okay, going to the doctor, etc.? And if I were you, so you're putting yourself in that person's place. If I were you, I would, or I'd, okay, which is a contraction, I'd do this or that, or, and again, you should and you shouldn't, okay, things like that. All right, so number one, I have a bad headache, okay, so can you give me advice, okay? You can go, you can give me advice for anything till number 5. Okay, I'll just read it for you, but go ahead and use some of these phrases to give me advice. I have a bad headache. Where should I go on holiday? That's number 2. Number 3 is I need to buy a gift for my mother and I have no idea what to buy. Number 4, my dog always jumps on people. Number 5, what's the best way to get to the city center from here? Okay, so can you please give me some advice? Okay. For example, if somebody told me that they had a bad headache, I would say, oh, I would say, have you tried taking a paracetamol? Okay. That is how I would offer my advice. All right, guys, I'm going to wait because the comments, it does take time. So don't worry, take your time. I'm here, I'm waiting for your answers. Ah, very good, Luca. Luca says you should buy a new specific pillow for your headache. Oh, nice. A medical pillow for your headache. Nice. Very good. That's a good piece of advice. I would definitely have taken you up on that advice. Very nice. Okay. Great. So Katerina says, my sister has lived in Berlin for about 1 year for work. So we often call each other and we give advice on how to plan our days because in this period, we are equals. Ah, so you're going through the same, same period, yeah, because of the lockdown. Okay, but that's very nice. Mm-hmm. And it's always nice, because usually you can trust your sister and family members to give you good advice because they have the best interests at heart. Okay, so we will say your sister has your best interests. So she wants the best for you. Okay, so she will give you good advice. All right. What about where should I go on holiday? Can you give me some advice? Great, very nice. Lucas says, if I were you, very nice, I'd go to Tropea in Calabria. It's a fantastic place, amazing food and wonderful sea, the best I've ever seen in my life. Fantastic. That sounds amazing, Luca. That sounds great. Very nice. Tropea in Calabria. That's a good location I should look up. I've always wanted to go to Calabria, so Tropea sounds... I will Google it after the lesson today. Very nice. Okay, so number 3, I need to buy a gift for my mother and I have no idea what to buy. I am no idea or I am clueless. Another way of talking about ideas, not having any idea. Okay, so clueless. Okay. Katerina says you should go to Japan. It's an interesting and amazing country with a particular culture. Very nice. Good advice. Yes. Have you been to Japan, Katerina? Tell us about your experience if you have. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so number 3, I need to buy a gift. Number 4, my dog always jumps on people. And I don't know what to do. I need some advice. Talking about holidays, where should I go on holiday? The place Tropea in Calabria sounds very inviting, and of course I love Japan, so yes, Japan would definitely be top of my list. Where else? Maybe I can give you some ideas. If you are interested in going to Asia, I can guide you. There are so many beautiful places in Asia. If you like, depending on what you like, you might like the beach. You might also like the mountains. So it's a wide variety of things that you can see, or if you like, just take a city break, walk around the city, sightseeing. Okay, so there are so many places that you will enjoy. And obviously, because in Europe as well, but I'm not concentrating on Europe because I'm sure that you being in Italy, you've been to most places here in Europe. Okay. Guys, whoever else is watching, please do join in. Don't worry, it's never too late. You can join and you can answer these questions. Okay, we're just giving advice and using these phrases which are on the screen in front of you. You can use you should, you could, have you tried, have you thought about, if I were you, I would, you shouldn't, and so on. Okay, we are giving each other advice today. Mm-hmm. Giving advice comes so naturally to some of us, especially if you've always grown up with younger siblings. Okay, another word I want you to look at is siblings. I've realized that some of you don't know the meaning of siblings. It means brother and sister together, gender neutral. Okay. Oh, very good, Luca. Luca says you should buy her a voucher for a spa treatment. Bingo. So that you have basically given me such good advice, because there is no mother in this world who wouldn't like a spa treatment. Very nice, Luca. Well done. Okay. Still waiting for some of you to answer, guys. Come on. It's never too late to join. Please join and give us some advice. Okay, so as I was saying, for some of us, it's so natural to, come up with unsolicited advice because we've always grown up as the eldest of the siblings. Okay, so the eldest, I am the eldest child in my family. So I have a brother and sister, and I continuously give them advice, which they don't really want, so unsolicited. But that's how it is. All right, so Katerina says, yes, I flew there 1 year ago on September. Oh, good. For me, it was one of the best journeys, even if Japan was quite expensive. Okay, so I would use the word quite expensive. Okay, because we never say enough expensive. For this reason, I booked the flight and the hotel months before. Ah, very nice, Katrina. Very nice. However, if I were you, I'd go to Japan. Fantastic, good. Katrina, where did you go? I'm so excited to know that. Did you go to Osaka? Did you go to Tokyo? Where did you go? And did you go to Narita, the most beautiful place there? Yes. Just like Katrina, I love Japan. Japan is absolutely beautiful. And yes, as Katrina says, it is quite expensive, but if you book it in advance, like she did, it might be a little helpful, okay? All right. So, my dog always jumps on people, okay? So I need some advice regarding that. And what's the best way to get to the city center from here? So earlier I was talking about unsolicited advice, which means, like my brother and sister, they never ask me for advice, but I just give it to them, okay? So I give them unsolicited advice. They don't ask for it, but I just randomly give them advice because I care, you know, because I'm the elder person in the house, and I think that they should learn from me through my experiences. Sometimes they don't like it also. They don't like it, but I just say it anyway. Nice. Went to Tokyo, Kyoto, and Nagasaki. Wow, very nice. Beautiful. Beautiful places. Very different culture compared to the whole world, the rest of the world, especially Italy. If since you know the Italian culture a lot, and yes, compared to the Italian culture, it's really, really different. Now, Luca says, have you tried to put it on a leash? Fantastic. Very good advice. Very good, Luca. You're doing really well. And so are you, Katerina. You have been answering all my questions. So number 5 is, what's the best way to get to the city center from here, from wherever you are? Okay, you can maybe tell us how to get to the city center. Okay, so Lucas says, from my home, the best way is on foot. Ah, so you live very near the city center. Very good. It's on foot. Okay. Very nice. Okay, so meanwhile, Luca, since you've already answered all these questions, okay, so Lucas says, I live in the city center. Very nice. So good. So everything, it's very convenient, right? Everything is near you. Another word I'd like to talk about is convenient, which means in English, it means easy, easier. Okay, it doesn't mean cheaper, right? Living in the city center, it's very convenient because the shops are near you, the supermarket is near you, there's also transportation and so on. So it's more convenient. Katerina says, I usually ask advice before buying presents for people who I don't know very well, like friends of my parents or friends of my friends. Okay, so you usually ask around and then you decide what to buy. Understandable. Very good. All right, so what I want you to do is, guys, Luca, tell me a problem. Okay, can you write down a problem that you're having? And since you two are the only ones actually active today, Katerina, can you also write down a problem you are facing at the moment, okay? So that you can give each other advice, okay, on how to face these problems, all right? So I'll wait for your answers. There are many of us who are watching, but I think some of the viewers are a little shy to answer, but don't worry. It's okay. You can watch for now and you can answer and take part in maybe another webinar, or even now. It's never too late, okay? All right, so Luca and Katerina at the moment, can you tell us the problems you're having right now so that we can give you some advice?
Mama. I'm already full. My tummy stopped wobbling.
Okay, very nice. Luca says, what do you recommend for surviving the quarantine? Very nice. Katrina, can you answer that? If I were you, I'd live in a city center and not in a countryside because it's more convenient, even if traffic and pollution. If I were you, I'd live in the city center and not in the countryside because it's more convenient, even if there is traffic and pollution. All right, great. Great. All right. So, Katerina, but tell us a problem that you're having right now, okay? And what about giving Luca some advice too on surviving the quarantine? Oh my God. Okay, so if maybe I could say, if I had to give you some advice, I would say, to survive the quarantine, maybe you could watch many documentaries, read a lot of books, watch movies in English to improve your English. Okay, so these are the things that I would recommend or I would suggest. And what about you, Katerina? Is there a problem that you're facing at the moment that you need advice for? Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Yep. Katrina says, could you suggest some books and films to improve my English? Okay. So what I would suggest right now at this level would be, depending on what you like. Katrina, you'll need to tell me how old you are, if you have children. Okay. So maybe I can talk to you about if you have somebody to watch with you on Netflix. I would highly recommend some of the Walt Disney cartoons, because they have really good English and very simple English, because it's also English that is used for children to help them learn. And the stories are nice too. So I would suggest those. Some of my students have also been watching Casa de Papel in English. And they say that the accent is good, it's simple, and the vocabulary is not too difficult. So that could be a good good suggestion. With regards to English, you have the simplified version of all the books of the great classics, like from Charles Dickens to who else? R.L. Stevenson. You have a lot of books, but at your level, you will have to read the simplified versions, okay, which are simplified for children at the ages between the ages of 11 to 13. Okay, so these are the books that I would suggest. And if you like, you can read some of the classics, which are really, really good. And also, even though the language is simplified, you still gain a lot of vocabulary, and it's going to be interesting. And at the same time, it's going to improve your English. Okay, so those. And of course, on Netflix, there are so many different series, and you can pick and choose from them. Lot of I know that some of the students have talked about How I Met Your Mother, and some of them have watched that. Some of them also watched the TV series Friends in English. I would also recommend you putting on the subtitles, okay, because it depends now on which accent you understand more. Okay, if you prefer the American accent, the British accent, the Australian accent, because in English we have so many different accents as well, and whichever one you find simpler and easier to understand, I would push you towards that accent. All right. All right, so moving on. So we're going to be looking at some reassuring phrases, okay? So these phrases would be, don't worry, don't stress about it, everything will be okay. I've been in the same situation. So you're putting yourself in that person's shoes. You're showing empathy, okay? So the word empathy is, I think, understood by most of you, because I think in Italian you use the same word. It is when you put yourself in that other person's shoes, okay? You're looking at it from his perspective. And then, of course, you have I understand, okay? So now we have to use some reassuring phrases with number one, I have a big project to finish at work and I don't know if I can finish by the deadline, okay? And how would you reassure this person? Number two, I didn't pass my exam. Number three, I didn't get the job. Number four, my boyfriend/girlfriend and I had a terrible argument. Number five, my parrot is sick. Okay, so parrot would be your bird, pappagallo. Okay, is sick. So I'm going to wait for your answers. Okay, I'm still here. If you don't hear any sound from me, I haven't gone away. I'm still here. So the problems are, I have a big project to finish at work and I don't know if I can finish by the deadline. Number 2, I didn't pass my exam. Number 3, I didn't get the job. My boyfriend/girlfriend and I had a terrible argument. Number 5, my parrot is sick. And you could tell that person, don't worry, don't stress about it. Everything will be okay. I've been in that same situation. I understand. And Lucas says, don't stress about it. Take a moment to relax and plan your day carefully. Brilliant, Luca. Very, very good. Okay. Katrina's replying to that that question. I'm 22 years old and I graduated in cinema at the University of Pisa in November. I've played the piano since I was a child and I like listening to music. Oh, so Katrina, music could be your key. Listen to good music. All right, so music, but I'm not talking about trap and rap. I would suggest more like blues, jazz, okay, this sort of music. So Katrina says, before this period, I bought a book which is, oh, did you buy Moby Dick? And it contained a DVD which helped me to improve my listening. That's fantastic. Moby Dick is a classic. I would recommend it, very highly recommend it, okay? All right, however, thanks for the suggestion. I start before this quarantine to read and watch some easy books and films to improve my English. Very nice. Well done, Katerina. This is how you're going to improve. Everybody has a different way of doing it. And I think you found your way. All right, so also music, pop music, if you like, where you can hear the lyrics clearly, okay? I would recommend that since you like music. All right. Okay, so the problems and the reassuring phrases to reassure someone is to say, don't worry, don't stress about it, okay? These kind of phrases. Very nice. Lucas says, don't worry, don't stress about it. I know it's a tough time, but keep studying hard, and I know you can pass the next exam with no problem. Well done, Luca. Very nice. Very good. Good advice and good reassuring phrases used there. Meanwhile, while you're answering the other questions, I'm going to write down a few books. I'm going to write down the name of a few books that you can look at for Katerina. Little Women. Okay. Okay. Okay, so Katerina, I've written down a few books that I read when I was, when I was younger, and these books helped me, um, you know, gain a better texture in my language, and I think these are going to help you. So I would highly suggest, these are all classics. So Little Women, Great Expectations, Tom Sawyer, Oliver Twist. These are very classic novels, and they will help you a lot. Okay. Okay, great. So number 3, Lucas says, I've been in the same situation. Don't worry, you will find a job as soon as possible because you're the best. Oh, that's nice. It's reassuring, sometimes you have to say little white lies. Let me write it. So we say white lies so that we don't hurt other people's feelings, so just to encourage him, you're telling him that he's the best and so on, which is great, because then you're encouraging him, giving him hope, which is very reassuring. Absolutely. Very nice. Okay, maybe we have time for just one more reassuring phrase, just one more problem. And Lucas says, I read Oliver Twist when I was in high school. I have to read it again. Exactly, Luca. I read that too when I was in high school. So I wanted to give these names. Fantastic, yes. And I think I should read it again too. Yeah, beautiful stories. Very nice. And I think that Katrina is going to love it. Okay. So Katrina says, when I didn't pass my last exam before my graduation, I was very worried and stressed, but fortunately my mom said, don't worry, everything will be okay. It's only an exam and it can happen. And it happens sometimes when someone can't pass an exam. What a lovely mom. Yeah. If I failed an exam, my mother would be so upset that she wouldn't really say something like this to me. But it's nice when you have a mom like this, and she reassures you and says that, yes, it happens sometimes and you can do it again. All right, guys, unfortunately, we are short of time and I will have to wrap it up. Thank you for coming today, especially to Luca and Katerina, who really participated, and you really took the time to be here and answer the questions. And I'm going to quickly read Luca's last reassuring phrase. Everything will be okay to him or her, and try to make up with him or her. Arguments always happen. Very good, Luca. You seem like such a nice guy. All right. Okay, guys, have a lovely day, and I hope to see you all really soon. Bye.